Hello everyone. Today we're talking about a character that's got himself into quite a bit of hot water recently. Sexualizing young girls, an inability to take criticism, and submitting false DMCAs which are flat out against the law. That's right, we're talking about JustDestiny. If you're not aware of this situation, JustDestiny has made quite a name for himself in all the wrong places and for all the wrong reasons. Despite his 1.7 million subscribers, Destiny still thinks it's a good idea to use sexually explicit photos of children in his thumbnails for clickbait. Several people called him out for this indecency, to which he responded by acting like the 12-year-olds he criticizes in his videos.
Nice flex. Muscles can't protect you from the law, nor can it shield you from a baseball bat. Have a nice day. You reap what you sow. You're not as safe behind your computer screen as you think you are. Lessons must be learned, and there must always be that one particular person who ends up teaching them. Your parents must be ashamed.
It's commentary. 90% of these kids will start stuttering and spluttering when confronted with someone they have beef with online.
Facts, my guy. This really makes me wish people really knew who I was. All these suburban children with computers and acting tough on the internet. Rah, laughing my ass off.
The proper way to respond to this criticism would be like this one Twitter user said. Something like, yeah, I can see how that could be interpreted that way. I'll change the thumbnails. Thanks for bringing it to my attention. But this is a commentary channel we're talking about here. I mean, hell, he's made more videos on Dr. Phil than I have on my entire channel. But today's video is not about JustDestiny's content, although, in my opinion, it is subjectively awful. Today's video is addressing the legality of what JustDestiny did following the drama. But before I can flex on you with my law skills, we have to explore the context of this situation, starting off first with a video by LtCobra. LtCobra is a 15-year-old YouTube commentator who made a video on JustDestiny talking about all the problematic aspects of his channel, from his content to his thumbnails, as well as documenting the hostile Twitter exchanges he had with him. In these exchanges, it shows that Destiny has an aversion to criticism. He would rather defend an indefensible position than admit his wrongdoings. After all of these very civil and reasonable exchanges, Cobra decided to make a video on the situation, which received a torrent of dislikes out of nowhere, with not a single hate comment present. A day or two later, the dislikes magically disappeared. Wow. How crazy is that? All those people that disliked the video changed their minds and removed the dislike the next day? How amazing! Yeah, I'm pretty sure he dislike botted it. Then over a week goes by, and Destiny is as silent as a rock. He decided to make his Twitter account private, and has still not taken down many of the offending thumbnails, implying that he still agrees with his previous point of view. Hello everyone, it's John from the future here. Now at the time of writing this video, JustDestiny had only removed 1 or 2 videos from his channel, but it seems that he's now removed every single thumbnail that people had problems with. He's deleted approximately 19 million views from his channel, so in a way this is almost worse than before, since he's acknowledging that it's wrong, but still deflects any criticism that comes his way. Anyway, on with the video. But then, dear LtCobra, due to a copyright takedown notice that we received, we had to take down your video from YouTube. Takedown issued by JustDestiny. Well, you know what this means. Put on your monocle, grab your popcorn, and brace yourselves, because it's time to do some law flexing. When discussing DMCA takedowns, people often say things like, why doesn't YouTube get involved? Well, I'll tell you. To quote Hypebot, Section 512 of the US copyright law is important to YouTube's current model of copyright because it grants safe harbor to digital service providers under specific circumstances. Essentially, safe harbor provisions state that these services are not legally responsible for the uploading of unlicensed content by their users, providing they either compensate the rights holders or remove content when it is found to be infringing. Fair use can only be determined in a court of law, so YouTube cannot legally step in without violating their safe harbor status. That means that any person, you, me, my dog, can go to this form on YouTube's website, click copyright infringement, drop a video link of a person that you don't like very much, pop your name and contact info in, tick all these boxes down here, and boom, the video's down, that person just got a strike. It really is that easy. But hold up, let's read these checkboxes. I have good faith that the use of the material in the manner reported by the claimant is not authorized by the copyright owner, its agent, or the law, and this notification is accurate. I acknowledge that there may be adverse legal consequences for making false or bad faith allegations of copyright infringement by using this process. I understand that abuse of this tool will result in the termination of my YouTube account. JustDestiny's strike was definitely a violation of these terms, and I'll speak more about that soon. LtCobra's video was obvious and quintessential fair use. He used JustDestiny's content for a grand total of 32 seconds. Each clip was about 5 seconds in length, and he took it from different videos. But you're not just going to believe a swan in a suit when he tells you that something is fair use or not. So let's go to Chapter 107 of the US Copyright Act 1976 and look at the 4 factors of fair use. Let's start off with Factor 1, the purpose and character of the use, including whether such use is of a commercial nature or is for non-profit educational purposes. Now, although no factor is independently determinative, the heart of fair use inquiry is the first factor, whether the use is transformative by adding something new with a further purpose or different character. The central purpose of this investigation is to see whether the new work merely supersedes the objects of the original creation, or instead adds something new, altering the first with new expression, meaning, or image. A use is transformative if it does something more than repackage or republish the original work. LtCobra's video used clips of JustDestiny in a transformative manner, and definitely adds new meaning and expression to the original. Not a positive meaning, mind you, but that's not the point. Another thing to look at in this factor is whether the work was used for a commercial nature. If not, then a video is more likely to be determined as fair use. LtCobra makes no money from YouTube, therefore he has an even better case. The second factor, the nature of the copyrighted work, is rarely found to be determinative, so we can pretty much ignore this factor entirely. Let's move on to the third factor, the amount and sustainability of the portion used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole. This requires courts to consider not only the quantity of the material used, but also their quality and importance. The JustDestiny clips that LtCobra used comprise no more than 5 seconds of the original videos, thus the amount used in relation to the copyrighted work as a whole is minuscule. The importance of these clips to the original work are also extremely low. If those particular sentences were left out of Destiny's videos, the videos would not be worse off because of it. They might actually be better off, but anyway. Let's move on to the fourth factor, the effect of the use upon the potential market for or value of the copyrighted work. This is a point that people often misinterpret, so let me explain. The fourth factor focuses on whether the secondary use usurps demand for the protected work by serving as a market substitute, not merely whether the market for the allegedly infringed work was harmed. Critical parodies may legitimately aim at harming the market for a copyrighted work, and a lethal parody like a scathing theatre review kills demand for the original, but does not produce a harm cognizable under the Copyright Act. If the secondary work harms the market for the original through criticism or parody, rather than by offering a market substitute for the original that supersedes it, it does not produce a harm cognizable under the Copyright Act. If the allegedly infringing work is not considered a market substitute for the allegedly infringed work, the fourth factor weighs in the favour of the defendant. LtCobra's video is most decidedly not a market substitute for Destiny's videos, therefore LtCobra's videos qualifies as fair use under the fourth factor, qualifies all relevant factors, and is classified as fair use under Chapter 107 of the US Copyright Act 1976. Now, you may ask, but if the video is so obviously fair use, why doesn't LtCobra just appeal the strike? Well, to appeal a copyright strike, you are starting a legal process, and YouTube is obligated to share your information with the claimant, and in turn, the claimant might decide to sue you. In fact, the only way for Destiny to keep the video down would be to provide evidence that he has sued LtCobra. Now, sending your personal information to a person that has made threats like these is probably not a good idea. But let's just say, hypothetically, that LtCobra decides to appeal the strike and Destiny is stupid enough to file a lawsuit against him. Let's go into the specifics of that and how it would work. First off, Destiny would have to sue Cobra in the country where LtCobra published the allegedly infringing work, the UK. Not only would he have to hire an attorney from the UK and go through the UK court system, but he would have to sue someone below the age of majority, which is incredibly difficult. He'd also have to use the guidelines for fair dealing in the UK, which are almost identical to fair use. Because the US and the UK's copyright law relating to fair use are so similar, precedents from these two countries can be taken into account when the judge makes a decision. Using the lawsuit of Matt Hosseinzadeh versus Ethan Ela Klein as precedent would just completely end JustDestiny's case. So he wouldn't do it. Not going to happen. Too complicated and too expensive. But he did threaten to. Recently, LtCobra was sent a cease and desist letter to his email. Now, if that doesn't send red flags already, it should, because attorneys usually don't send formal letters via email, and letters sent via email are very hard to justify in court. This letter was sent via a firm called Dash & Associates. A few people have said that this law firm looks legit, but with all due respect to those people, I do wonder if they did any research at all. If you go to their website, there is no phone number, address, or any other way to contact them aside from an email and a contact form. If you look up Dash & Associates on Google, you won't find anything aside from their own website and other law firms with similar names. There is an address at the top of the cease and desist letter, but it's just a random house in the middle of New York that's also the location of Rex Ranch, a magic shop. Hey, maybe the magic shop made all evidence of Dash & Associates disappear. That's some magic trick. I'm sure Penn and Teller would be very impressed. They also felt the need to use domains by proxy to hide their information when they registered their .co domain name, which is another red flag. Why not just use .com or .org or literally anything that looks more legit? The letter also mentions about filing the lawsuit in Fulton County State Court, located in Atlanta, Georgia. But the problem with this is that this court doesn't have the authority to force LtCobra to travel from the UK to the state of Georgia to defend himself, as it's way outside their jurisdiction. 6,765 kilometers away, in fact. But we still haven't even discussed the juiciest point. The subject line of this letter says, and I quote, "Intent to sue, defamation, libel, slander." Now remember, Destiny took down the video for copyright reasons, through a DMCA, not for defamation. If the video was taken down for violating JustDestiny's copyright, why wouldn't they mention that in the letter? Submitting a DMCA takedown because of defamation is illegal. If you wanted to take down the video due to defamation, Destiny should have filed a defamation complaint. Remember, misuse of the DMCA tools can result in the termination of your YouTube account. I very much doubt this letter is legitimate, but if it is, guys, please change your domain name, make a Google Maps listing, and add some more info to your website, please, because this looks super duper sketchy. Now, in my opinion, JustDestiny took down the video for two reasons. One, because the video was gaining traction quite fast, and he wanted to preserve what little reputation he had left. And two, if LtCobra did submit a counter notification, Destiny would be able to get all of his personal information and potentially use it in a malicious manner, given the hostile tweets that he had made addressing the situation. This is an unacceptable use of YouTube's copyright tools that exist to protect creators. JustDestiny, you messed up. Apologize, remove the strike, take a break from the internet for a while, and come back a changed person. Because you've just publicized this information further, and continuing to do the things you're doing will make it blow up in your face more than it already has. Do the right thing. For everyone else though, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Bye bye.